Being able to secure your database is one of the most important things. In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can create a simple VBA code that is going to ask your user to input the username and the security code. And if the username and the password is not correct, the VBA code is never going to allow the user to be able to log in. Now, without wasting any much time, allow me to open up Microsoft Access. And remember, I'm using Microsoft Access 2021, but you can do this in 2016 or 2013 or 2007. There's no problem at all. I'm going to create a blank database. I'll choose a name here. Let me just go with security and I'll hit create. Once your database opens up, Access will try and create a table for you, but you can go ahead and delete this. I'm going to show you how we can create this manually from start. For you to be able to secure your database, there are things that you need to put in mind. One is that we need a table that is going to store the correct credentials of any person that is going to be able to gain access to this database. And again, we need a form where any person trying to log into the system is going to input his username and the password. Now, to start off, I'm going to create a new table. I'll design a table here. The first field will be the username and the next will be password. The data type can be short text because the password is going to be not too long. It is at most 8 characters, and the username is also the same. So I'm going to hit save on this and I'll name it table security and hit OK. It's going to prompt me for a primary key, but I don't need the primary key in this table, so I'll just say no, and then I'll go to here. Now, once you are done with this, you can close it off. What we need next is a form, so I'll go up here to create and I'll choose a form. The most appropriate form is the model dialog form, so I'll click on that one and open it up. Here you can see we have 2 buttons already, which I'm going to design in just a moment. But before that, up here you have a text box. Click on it and click on the screen here. You'll have a text box. You need 2 of them, so do that twice. Once that is done, rename this to username, and here name this to password. You can arrange them any way you want, but let me just drag mine here correctly, and I'll add this beautiful rectangle so that it can look good. So this is our form. This is how it is going to look like. Before that, let me do this quick. That way can look a bit nicer. Yeah, perfect. Now that you have this, you can go ahead and hit save and save it as the login form and click OK. Now we have to go back to design view and define the logic, because right now there's nothing that is happening here, nothing important. So we have to go back and define some logic, and that logic is going to be in this button, the OK button, that is going to verify whether the password is correct, whether the username is actually there. So while the OK button is selected, come here on the events, click on event procedure and click the 3 dots on the side here. Now we are going to define the code in this section. This is the Visual Basic for application. Here we are going to define some code, and the first thing that you're going to do is to check whether the username is present and also check whether the password is present. And the way we do that is by writing these few lines of code. And before that, let me actually move this to the side so that you can do 2 things concurrently. Now I'm going to rename some stuff here just a little so that I know what I'm dealing with. Let me move this to the side and click here on the username, the unbound, and I'll come here and rename this to username. This is important so that you remember what this is. And I'm also going to rename this to password. It is easier to remember password than text 4 or label 5, for example. Now once that is done, I'll come here to my code and I'll keep on writing. Let me remove the caps. So I'm asking whether the username is present. For that, I need to write here if is null, that is going to return a true or false value depending whether there is something in that box or not. And I'll leave a message box here and tell the user to provide the username, and I'll also set the focus on that section so that the user is ready to input the username. And then I write an else if down here. This is one word. I'll do the same down here so that we don't waste a lot of time, and I'll also set focus here like that. Now this code is going to ensure that there is something that is typed in the username or the password, and we can actually go ahead and test this. And before you test, you have to close the ifs. So I'll write here and if. Now let me hit save here, and then I'll come here and try this. Now I'll not type anything here, and I'm going to hit OK and see what happens. I get a message saying please provide the username, and the cursor is there ready for me to type in something. So I'll go ahead and type in my name and hit OK. It's going to prompt me to provide the password. So we are okay so far. Now if suppose I provide the password and I hit OK, nothing is going to happen. So we have to define more functions here. Now when we are here, we are going to write an else statement. Say else. So we are going to check whether the password that was put in is equal to the password that is saved in this database. So here, after the else statement, we are going to compare whether what is in the database is equal to what the user is going to type in. So basically what we are doing, we are comparing what the user is going to type in with what is stored in the database. Now watch this. We are writing here an if block, right? If is null is not going to be very effective, but it is important that it is there. So if is null, and then use the dlookup function to compare. The dlookup function takes in two arguments. The first one is the field in a table. So this field, in this case, it is called the username, and make sure it is in quotation because it is a string, and then separated by a comma, you write in the domain. Now the domain refers to the table where that username belongs to. So in our case is TBL security, and also don't forget the quotation. Now after that, put in a comma, and the third one we are going to compare it with the username. So the dlookup is going to look at the username in the table security. When it has looked at that, it is going to compare it with the username that is going to be typed in by the user. And the way that we check that is by typing in, you read it like this: if whatever the dlookup function finds in the table, check whether the username is equal to whatever the user is going to type in. Now what the user is going to type in, you're going to concatenate it here like this. Type a single quote and then a double quotation, and then concatenate that username value like that, and then you're going to close this concatenation, put your quotation one and that one. Now this one is done. From there you're going to close all the brackets that you opened. That is done. Use if it is null, dlookup, the username, table security, compare the username and whatever that person typed in. Once you're done with that, also check at the password. Now you're going to write here or, because this underscore is just to say go to another line, nothing fancy. So when I say underscore, means can be able to hit enter without getting any error messages. Now because this is too long and I don't have to type it in, you can just copy it and paste it down here. You're going to get a bunch of errors because of what you know. So delete if, come here to username and change this to password. It is from that same table, and we are checking the password. Check it and compare it with the me.password.value. And now you can get rid of this or. You can type then and hit enter. Now that is working. Now this is going to return true or false, whether the username that was typed in is equal to what was saved in the database. If not, we are going to leave a message here. So type in message, or instead of typing a lot, or let me just type in because I don't have to copy too much. So message box, and writing the password or the username is incorrect, and close that off there. Now we are going to check whether we have done the right thing. So without going any further, let me just check whether we are doing the right thing. I'll come here and I'll go back one view here. Yes, let me try to hit OK and see what happens. Oh, error comes. No, I've opened a block if without an end if. So I'll come down here and write end if. Yeah, that should do the trick. Now I'll come back and try again after I stop. Hit OK. Block if without end if. So I have two ifs. I need to add another end if down here. Okay, let us try this one once more. Okay, all right, now we are back to business. So provide the username. Now we're back to business. Let me type in something and I hit OK. Provide the password. Okay, let me type in 1 2 3 and 4. Hit OK. Password or the username is incorrect. Correct. That is good, because remember we did not add anything to the table security. So let me try and add something here. Let me say admin and I'll add the password as 1 2 3 4. Now we can start doing some business. Let me type here admin and I'll tap here 1 2 3 and 4. Hit OK. Password or the username is incorrect. Okay, that is not what I expected. Okay, admin and 1 2 3 and 4 is not the password. Admin 1 2 3 4. How is that not the password? There's a bug somewhere. There's a bug, man. There must be a bug. Let us try to debug that bug. Right, let us do it together. Maybe I did not save this. Let me try to open it again. Let me save this. Now let us try that again. Admin 1 2 3 and 4. Okay, now nothing happens. That is a good thing. All right, when nothing happens is a good thing, because we do not add any logic. What happens when the password is correct? You can add here an else statement and say else open another form, or else write another message and say that correct, because that is the easiest to do. I don't have any other form that I can open. So let me come here and say, let me say correct come VBA in access. If I hit save on that, and then I can come here and try to do this once more, one last time. I'll type in admin and I'll type in user password 1 2 3 and 4. I hit OK and I'll see correct welcome to VBA in access. So that means the password was correct. Now you might be wondering whether you have to come back to the table security so that you can add and remove members who can access the database manually. But you can create a form that is going to fill this table. Create a form that is going to add and delete people who can access the database. In that form you can add whether one person has more security than the other, and also change the VBA code, change the algorithm so that each person can access any part of the system and allow people to make changes, and also grant some of your users access. Now if you've enjoyed the video, make sure you leave me a like, a thumbs up, and also subscribe to the channel so that you never miss any updates from my channel. Thank you so much for reaching the end. I'll see you on the next video.